What is good, Spuds? This is Jesse Whitedeer from the Needless Potatoes podcast, starring me, Jesse Whitedeer. Our guests today are the mighty, nay, the mythical Lucid Awakening, all the way from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we sit down and we talk about road stories, how they came to be, influences, their music, their life, their likes, their dislikes, all that great stuff that you love hearing from a kick-ass band, and they are a kick-ass band. And yeah, we cover all of that for you wonderful fans, all you spuds out there in the interwebs. And speaking of shows and bands and such, you should definitely check out the Blue Note on February 8th. Oberon, Stone Wolf, and a lady we all know are all going to be up there jamming for you guys. It's going to be awesome. $7 at the door, 21 and up. Yeah, so, bring your friends, bring your girlfriend, bring your boyfriend, bring your non-binary partner, whoever you want. Bring your mom, bring your dad, bring your cousin, bring your Uncle Joe Jericho with the glass eye. Bring everybody. And keep it rocking for us. Stay tuned to White Deer Entertainment on Facebook and Instagram. We'll be announcing some shows coming up. We're getting back into the booking, which I think is a good thing. But yeah, so check those guys out. And definitely check out Warlord Radio out there on Harry Rock Radio on the YouTubes. Warlord Radio, rather, is a combination of Carrick Coleman from Diesel Beast and Craig Meinhardt from the mighty Silver Tongue Devil. And yeah, those guys host a radio show, or a podcast rather, on Harry Rock Radio, and it is on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. So new episodes, not new, but episodes launching every Sunday at 7. Check them out, and definitely check them out on YouTube. You'll love hearing from those guys. They're awesome. So shout outs to both of those guys. We love you. And hey, we love you for listening and sticking with us. Hey, Logan, nice to see you. Nice to hear from you. You didn't think I'd talk about you 2 weeks in a row, but here I am. But yeah, anyways, this is getting lengthy. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for the support. If you really want to support us, you can go to anchor.com/Jesse Whitedeer. Hit the Needless Potatoes podcast tab. Hit that support tab if you'd like. If you don't, that's cool too. You can always share this podcast. You can comment. You can tell a friend. You can do all that wonderful stuff. Any amount helps, and we love you for it. So, hey, once again, here is the mighty, or mythical, if you rather, Lucid Awakening. Hello, everybody. This is Jesse Whitedeer with the Needless Potatoes podcast. I'm sitting here with 4 of the members of Lucid Awakening, and we're in beautiful Tulsa, Oklahoma, in Jake's band room. Fellas, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
You gotta get closer to the mic, my man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. We're doing good.
Swell.
A little warm.
It's a beautiful day and it's all rainy and depressing outside.
Yeah, it's fucking pouring down rain and it's depressing and perfect time to film or record a podcast.
Yeah, we're in Jake's Beat Laboratory or recording room. Is that what you said? Or his jam room?
Jam room, recording room.
Yeah, you don't have to be so coy.
Office.
It's his beat station for sure.
His beat station, his beat off station.
Yes, his beat off station.
Okay. All right. So you guys are called Lucid Awakening. How did that name come to be?
This guy knows.
Colton, I was in high school, and I think I was watching Tom Cruise movie. I forgot what it was, but there was something about lucid
You guys
dreaming.
speak up just a little bit.
There was a movie with Tom Cruise in it. So far, so bad. But there was like some company that like sold lucid dreaming basically, and I was like, that's really cool. So I wanted to change it up a little bit, and I had no intention to for it to be a band name. I just thought it was a cool idea at the time, and me and Garrett were jamming at the time, and I think I just presented the idea or something, and we kind of just stuck with it for a long time now at this point.
Hell yeah. And what other band names was proposed?
That was the only one.
I was about to say there wasn't much.
It could be only one.
There could be only one. Okay, so real quick, why don't everybody introduce yourself? We'll start with you, Jake.
I am Jake Jezik. I play lead guitar for Lucid Awakening.
Nice.
I joined in 2015.
Yeah.
After jamming with Colton for a while after I got out of college. And yeah, but I've known these guys for pretty much all of my life. So
That's exciting.
All right, I'm Colton. You're probably gonna hear me clear my throat and cough a lot, but Jesse says that's all right, so that's all right. That's about it, Nikki.
Well, my name is Nicholas Santisteban. I joined the band after Colton and Garrett had approached me after watching coming to a practice for from
our
me
old
and
band.
Jake's high school band, and then we became a trio, and have sucked a lot of dicks ever since.
Nice.
Nice.
True.
Garrett, the old guy of the band. I play the bass, and yeah,
The man, the myth, the legend.
the man, the myth, the legend, as
The
meme
immortal
says.
icon of bass playing.
Ow, that was really loud.
It's funny. I saw on your graphics for the Needless Potato thing, and it's like potato as the mic. But
Yeah.
like, I didn't realize you actually used real potatoes for the mic.
yeah, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
crazy.
Like the listeners can't see it, but that's what's happening. This is
Oh,
what this
yeah.
is recorded through.
Well,
This one's mashed.
It's only Idaho Potatoes.
Yeah. So if you're looking for branding or a sponsorship, Idaho Potatoes, where you at?
Well, that's actually a biggie line. I peel shit like Idaho Potatoes.
Dude, you've got all the corners covered, man. I'm sold.
No, it's a wrestling term. So for those, you probably already well know because I talk about it on every episode. But I'm a huge pro wrestling fan, and a potato in wrestling is whenever you accidentally punch somebody for real. So like if you and I are having a match, and like I'm supposed to fake punch you, but I really punch you, that's called a potato. So needless potato or useless potato is like when it doesn't call for it. So if we're just having a match and I accidentally punch you and I get
Oh,
you
that's
hurt,
dirty.
yeah, then
Jake
it's
loves
like that's a
potatoes.
needless potatoes.
I do love potatoes.
So
So you're telling me that wrestling is fake? What?
It's still real to me, damn it.
I mean, it's fake to everyone else but me.
Word.
Undertaker's still dead.
I can respect that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Not that Undertaker's dead though.
Oh yeah. Well.
Hey, Mankind hit that table pretty hard off that cell. So
Yeah, he did, man. He got thrown off Hell in the Cell, and that was pretty sad. Mick Foley's a nice guy. I've never met him, but like I want to.
Do you think he got thrown off like after receiving a needless potato? Like he's like, you're not supposed to really throw me off, dude.
No, actually, like it's funny because like that was planned. Mick Foley and the Undertaker planned that spot to throw him off of the cell. The part that wasn't planned is when he choke slams him and he goes through the roof of the cell and he fucking caves in the ring.
he got knocked unconscious. From
Yeah,
it.
yeah, he got like a really bad concussion, like fucked up the vertebrae in his neck and shit. So,
That's why he's an icon.
oh well, fuck yeah, dude. Anyways, skipping all that nerd talk. You guys have been banned for several years. You've been playing the Tulsa area. A lot of people maybe that don't know you're an instrumental band. Can you kind of talk about like why instrumental prog? Why instrumental prog? I guess.
Well, I guess we've had a couple vocalists. It's always a matter of working things out and dedication and all that stuff. Just being around, being present. We're partial on the idea of having a vocalist, but we enjoy being instrumental at the same time. I mean, it's fun. It gives us a lot of freedom, and yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Well, and you guys are. Besides you guys, there's what Being Without is another instrumental band. Shout out to those guys. Hell yeah, dude. Shout out to those guys.
Love 'em.
And then, which anytime I ever see Chris Tyson, because I've seen both of his bands, No Love for Aphrodite, and then Being Without, I'm always like, I just want to give up trying to learn an instrument because he's like,
Oh, he's super talented,
dude,
man.
he's one of the most, or he's one of the best drummers I've ever seen. Bassist,
I've never seen him
guitars. Yeah, he used to play drums in No Love for Aphrodite. And he's a better drummer than he is a bass player. And he's an
Pretty
excellent
fucking
bass
good.
player.
Man. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him you said that.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just blown away by that guy. So
That's cool.
I just
man.
gave up.
Shout out to Chris Tyson.
Yeah, shout outs to that guy. But
Hold on.
and then is there is there another instrumental Oklahoma City band that we should know about? Oklahoma band?
Via the Verge is
yeah,
instrumental.
Via the
now.
bed. Verge, yeah, that's right.
They've been killing it.
Galaxia.
Galaxia.
Yeah,
for
Galaxia,
sure.
they're Bartlesville, but they kill it.
Yeah, and they were on Proglahoma with you guys, right?
Yeah, twice.
Still waiting for that T-shirt, by the way.
Do we have it here?
It was in this room we are recording this in right now. I don't know where it would be. We're probably gonna have to move
It
this
coincidentally disappeared a day ago. Before I
Yeah,
showed
I
up.
may have used it as toilet paper.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
Well,
we got one
anyways.
for you, bud.
Yeah.
Check the bathroom.
Well, nobody will see it, so let's just. Thanks for the cool T-shirt, guys.
Oh, here you go, Jesse. Put this on.
You gotta get close to the mic, my man.
No, dude, it's too late. Now it's lost its
Oh,
flair.
yeah, it's already dead. But so then, what Galaxia? Then there was Being Without, Via the Verge, which I know that my buddy Lauren Cheney was.
She's great.
Yeah, no, she's awesome as well. So, and she was managing those guys.
Yeah, I remember seeing her at the show, the Contortionist show. when we
Yeah.
played with Via the Verge.
Oh yeah, dude, hell yeah! I think the Contortionists. I've seen them because you guys opened for them, right?
Yeah.
Yep, last year. So watching those guys and Being Without was on that show as well.
Definitely.
Which
Wait, were they?
yeah, it was.
Okay, I was okay. I
Being
thought
without us. Via
because
the
yeah,
Verge.
we hopped on after we heard that they were hopped on. They had gone on.
Yeah, I helped them. I told them to hit them up and see if they can get on because I was like, there's probably still.
Yeah, get closer.
Yeah, I hit them up and told them who to hit up to get on because there was still a slot left. And then, yeah,
Played
then we
a
got
great
Being
show,
Without on the
so-
show.
You can probably put that mic like by you if you have some room.
Sorry, Lucid Awakening are chock full of amateurs who don't know how to talk
We don't
into a
use
damn
mics.
mic.
No,
See, we're
it's
an
all right.
instrumental band, so we
You
don't
can
know
tell,
how to
yeah.
use mics.
Yeah, right.
Microphone?
I'm like fucking coughing and stuttering over this shit.
No worries, man. You're just nervous. It's all right.
No, that was.
I don't do it often.
No, that was a good show.
But and you guys just released your album, right?
6
Yes.
months ago.
Well, 6 months ago.
And that actually leads kind of into that question earlier about the instrumental thing and how we are open to a vocalist and how we went through a couple. We really went the instrumental route because we wanted to get that first album released. Garrett and Coleman had this material written for how many years?
Ever.
Yeah, forever.
A lot of years.
A long time.
And then we had tracked it. We had tracked our first single a couple different times, and then there was something that went wrong, or we didn't like something about it.
There's always
something
something.
along those lines. And then we ended up finally just saying like, let's just do the instrumental thing and get all of this out. And that's why, because I've been in the band since 2015. We released our first album in 2019.
Man.
So
Lot of
we've
work,
had a
lot
lot
of
of
work.
material we've been sitting on.
Right.
You
Now,
think
is
that's
it?
bad?
Do you have material written for like a second album already?
We have a second album that is being.
We're working
almost,
on it.
Yeah,
We're
it's almost
working.
done being worked on, and
Okay.
you'll hear about some release dates pretty soon in 2020.
Yeah, there's no lack of material. I'll say that. There's quite a bit, honestly. But timing it right and trying to make the right move as far as a band and the business is concerned is
That's
what
the
we're
big part right
deliberating
now.
and trying to
Yeah.
get right, So taking the right time to sit here and do the next step and make sure it's the right step to take instead of like, because it's hard to prioritize things like as far as merch or band shit or even like putting out the record itself or as far as recording. It's just like which one do we do next, and that kind of depends on if we're playing shows currently or if we're need to take time off for that. So it just it
It's a matter of
varies.
the stars aligning right.
Yeah, and little before we got started, you guys were mentioning that you're going to play Denton again, right, at Killer's Tacos.
Yep.
Yes.
What's the date on that?
That is on.
Everybody bust your phones
I'm gonna
out.
have to
That's
look
all right.
here.
Happens all the time.
I
No
won't
worries.
bust mine out. Everybody's got
Let me
it.
look at
Yeah,
my
everyone's
sheet.
Yeah, that's
We-
why it's
we-
old man Garrett.
What's the phone?
We are playing Denton on Saturday, March 7th, on our tour with the guys in Just a Dream from San Antonio.
How many dates are on that tour?
5 dates. It's pretty much all Texas. We're doing San Angelo, Houston, San Antonio, Denton, and then we're finishing it off here in Tulsa.
Oh, excellent. And you guys are just touring with Just a Dream. What other bands are you playing with along the way?
We're playing with some really cool prog bands actually. In Houston, we're playing with this band Sensitizer. They're really cool.
Messengers.
Messengers as well in Houston. And then in San Antonio, which is Just a Dream, is actually from there, and we have a date from there. And then Melancholia, they are on that show. They're really cool.
What are the dates again?
And then Aeon Nova from Austin and the Ensemble. That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
They're from-
What are the dates?
Oh, the dates. It is March 4th is San Angelo, Texas. March 5th is Houston, Texas. March 6th is San Antonio, Texas. March 7th is Denton, and March 8th is Tulsa.
Nice. And how did you guys link up with Just a Dream? Was it through a mutual friend or was it?
So we played with Just a Dream whenever they were on tour back in like 2016 or 2017.
I think it was 2017.
We played with them at the Vanguard here, and they were we kept getting put on a lot of like hardcore shows and a lot of weird shows that weren't our style because I mean we're a prog band and there's not many.
Bunch of
Tulsa's
nerds.
a pretty small city, so
We're a bunch of
whenever they came through and we got to play with them, we were like, oh, nice, a prog band. We ended up hitting it off with them really well after the show. We ended up hanging out for quite a while.
Smoking
Became
weed.
really good friends with those guys. That's why I had them on the first Proglahoma as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we've always kind of kept in touch. They even came to our practice space out here one time and watched us practice and stuff. And then their drummer, Austin, is an agent at Perennial Talent Agency, which is the company I'm a founder of and as well as an agent.
Let's talk about that.
So we, me and my buddy Anthony Castleberry, you probably know him.
I know. Yeah.
We both we just wanted to start our own agency. We were both working with other agencies beforehand as agents.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to do our own thing. So we just kind of made it happen. We booked national tours across the U.S. We have a whole roster on perennialtalentagency.com of all the bands we represent. We have a manager for the company with Get Even Entertainment. It's Jack White. We just kind of all put it together.
Like the Jack White?
No, it's not that Jack
Yes.
White. But he's just as cool.
Okay. Awesome.
But yeah, that's basically what we do. We just book tours for bands. We all talent by here in Tulsa and stuff like that. For people hit me up for bands on tour, stuff like that, and I'll book them. Kind of the same type of stuff you do. with
Well,
White
and
Gear.
what are some of those bands? Like what a
Like on our roster?
yeah.
Well, we've got us obviously, and Just a Dream. We've got the band Cliff Diver, who's been doing pretty
Cliff
big
Diver,
things here
yeah.
in Tulsa. I'm on the spot here. Let me.
That's
let
all
me
right. I think
kinda-
Michael's here.
I've got Letdown.
Hey, Michael. What's up?
Hey, you got a fresh cut.
Got a fresh fade. Michael and his buddy are here. Hey, man,
here's
you
trouble.
have to. We're recording right now, but you have to share mic. So if you use this one that Colton's using, you have to speak up
Like
because
this.
it's kind of you have to kind of get up to not that much, but get up to the mic. Anyways, Michael, you want to introduce yourself since these guys already did?
All right. Well, hi, I'm Michael McGinley. I play keys.
You got to get a little bit closer.
All right.
There you go.
Hey. I'm Michael McGinley. I play keys in this rock band, Lucid Awakening. Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah, allegedly.
Alleged rock band.
Alleged rock band.
Yeah, I guess we didn't consider, like, you said introduce ourselves. We didn't mention our roles, basically.
Oh, I thought you guys did.
Did we? I certainly didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, Jake did.
At least
Okay.
two of us did. At least two of
Okay,
us
I'm a little
did.
stoned, I guess.
That's all right. You can do it now.
Okay, well, you got Jake Jezik on lead guitar. You got Colton Miller on extra lead guitar. Michael McGinley on keyboards, lead keys. You got Nikki Santos-Devon on the drums and Garrett Miller on the bass.
The lead bass.
Six-string
really.
bass, like a dill hole.
I'm always
but he's good.
intimidated by your last name because my last name's just White Deer. It's like not cool at all. But you got a real,
That's a cool last name, actually.
yeah.
You got to put the spice on it, or else it's
Yeah.
not as cool.
The real cool name here is Miller. That's a pretty. I had never
Michael
heard that until I
Original.
met these guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Speaking of potatoes, Miller's just sound like it's like a different word for potato to me, honestly. Like farmers.
All right. I knew a girl named Rapunzel Miller, and Rapunzel in German is lettuce. So-
Cousin Rapunzel. Yeah.
Sounds like a hoe. No.
Yeah, so lettuce potato was
lettuce potato.
a little bit.
salad? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's like a jobber wrestling name, lettuce potato. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Back at it again with the references.
I can't stop, dude. Like it's just,
Dude.
it's ingrained.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're the epitome, man.
Thanks, man. It's a funny story. I was hanging out with this dude, and well, not just him. There's a group of people, but like I'm used to my buddies kind of giving me a hard time and stuff, so I'm not used to people saying encouraging things. But like anytime I'd make a reference or whatever, he would always be like, "Oh, fucking sweet reference, bro," and it was like that on everything I said. And then eventually, I was just like, "All right, man, like."
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you can start making fun of my monotone ass voice now, usually, or whatever.
Actually, a quote from that one movie. What's it called? What's that movie called with
A little bit closer.
with Jonah Hill and?
This is the end.
Yeah, this is the end. Yeah. It's a quote from that. Yeah, sick reference, bro. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. I don't know if he was doing that gimmick, but
It's good. It's a good gimmick. It's a good bit. Yeah.
no. I mean, I think he was being genuine, but it was just annoying because I would say something, he'd be like, "Oh, fucking sweet reference, bro." He's like, "Dude, that was fucking funny, bro."
Shouts out to that dude for being so positive and supporting his sick references.
What are you gonna do? But and you guys had spoken about the Vanguard and we talked about Killer's Tacos in Denton. What are some of the favorite places to play for you guys?
Blue Note.
Blue Note in
Blue
Oklahoma
Note for
City.
sure.
We always like to play there. The Shrine's pretty cool. That's always a good time there here in Tulsa. Let's see. The place Gray's Keg Saloon in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, the best.
We didn't know what to expect. We had never heard of the place. But
Sound
shout
dude
out
was
to that
legit.
sound guy who I don't remember his name, but that guy was one of the best
Deserves
sound
a
guys I've
medal.
ever had on tour.
Dirty Dog is pretty cool.
Dirty
down
Dog in Austin.
Yeah,
That's
Sixth
pretty
Street.
sick.
Have you guys
Vision
played-
Brewing,
Yeah,
too.
that's what I was saying.
Dude,
Yeah, we played at was it Growl or
Honestly, most favorite place I've ever played. It's like a half brewery. The other half is like some sort of comic store
comic book
thing.
store.
It's crazy, but everybody
store.
fucking
Yeah. I think DJ mentioned
Yeah.
that too. Oberon has played there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that was Fuzz Fest, and we played the first day. You guys played the second day. Because we played with Crowbone. Didn't you guys?
No, we
No,
played
no.
there when we were on a tour with
Okay.
the guys in Mechanize from Kansas City.
R.I.P.
A shout out to them as well.
Wait,
And,
who are they? Who's that?
Mechanize? Yeah, I guess they're done. They're done now.
I
But,
don't know
that
who
sucks.
that.
but
man.
That always happens. You always
No,
get
they
good
were
local
good.
bands.
They were awesome band.
And then they're just they just disband or
oh, and then before I forget, Aftershock in Merriam, Kansas, around Kansas City. That was a really cool venue as well that we got to play.
We just named off all the venues that we've ever played in general.
Well, I mean, if they're all good, then they're all good. No, it was
There's been some bad ones.
well, yeah, and like,
Hey, let's shout out the bad ones.
but well, and I've heard of like some pretty shit ones, and I've with Oberon and stuff because I've been with those guys since the beginning. So doing roadie merch and things like that. But we had went to a few places, and it was kind of like we played a pizza parlor one time.
Was that J&J's?
No.
Oh,
J&J's is awesome. J&J's you play down in the basement. No. It was God damn it. I can't think of the name. I'm not gonna say the town because I don't want to like bury my buddy, but like
So it's a bad one. Okay.
yeah. I don't want to I don't want to shit on nobody, but we played there, and it was like in the middle of the day on like a Saturday, and it was really hot, and the air conditioning went out on our bus because Logan bought a charter bus.
Nice.
So we were all baking in there, and we were all just hanging out in our underwear and shit, and fucking baking the entire time going down there. That we played the show, and like to all these families and shit, and like they were just like staring at us, like, "What the fuck are you even doing here?" And they paid us in pizza. They were like, "Hey, you can have anything off the menu."
At
But
least.
yeah. And then that was it. And then we were just like, "Well, we're just gonna go home."
Dude, we have played a terrible show. It wasn't a terrible show on our part or the other band's part, but we had all these like really heavy bands and ourselves out in was it Piedmont? I think was it. We were like buttfuck nowhere almost, and it was like a half fire station and half
That was weird. That was a weird one. I
yeah
forgot
half
about that.
rec center. It was weird. Anyway, small place. Weirdly turn off your goddamn phone. What the fuck? Disrespectful.
Kick him out.
Yeah.
No.
Terrible show only because it was just like high schoolers there and their parents. It was like almost like a dance in like middle school or something.
It was
just
prom,
that awkward,
Piedmont
man.
Prom.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Did you guys play a prom? It sounds like.
Dude, I would have rather played a prom than that. Like, Shit, man. At least the kids would be lit, but no,
Well,
it was super weird.
They can't smoke anymore now. I raised that to 21.
Yeah,
Fuck them.
that's
Fuck
what
them
it is.
kids.
They can't roll their blunts now. They can't buy the
fuck
blunt
them
sticks.
Well, you can, which is weird is like at 18, you can get a medical marijuana license. So you can smoke pot when you're 18. You just can't smoke cigarettes.
Dude, back in my dad's day, they can buy their cigarettes for their fucking parents.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Young as fuck. But now it's definitely pretty anal, but I don't really care. I don't smoke cigarettes.
Yeah,
so.
that's true too. Fuck them. Fuck them kids. But
And their cigarettes.
yeah, and their cigarettes. So is there, and that kind of leads in is there like maybe not even at a venue, but do you guys have any kind of like cautionary tales, like any bad stories going on the road?
Oh,
Like,
I know where this is
well, we had a little run for Proglahoma on the first one with the guys in Just a Dream, and I don't even care if I shit on this guy. So
Yeah, shit on.
He does suck super bad. He fucked us.
We had a show booked. So we did for the first Proglahoma, we did a 3-day kind of run thing. Well, the first day, Just a Dream met us in Tulsa, and we played Rabbit Hole for which that place is really cool. It's a tiny
Proglahoma
stage,
pregame.
but on Friday and Saturday nights it gets packed out. Really, really cool place, all
Hell yeah.
all in all. But we played that. Then that was like a pre-game show, trying to sell more tickets for Proglahoma, stuff like that. Then the next day, Proglahoma happened, and then after that, we had a show scheduled in Dallas to kind of. That way, we could all do the run to Dallas. Just a Dream could go home to San Antonio. We could go back to Tulsa, kind of meeting in the middle afterward. We get to Dallas. I had been consistently talking to this promoter. I'll even should we drop his name?
I mean,
Talking about Tracy Sprague?
Tracy Sprague.
Oh, yeah?
well, we already did.
It happened. The show was it was in Deep Ellum at Reno's Chop Shop, is where it was supposed to be.
Seemed like a cool bar, too.
See, it was a very cool bar. The bar seemed cool. The bartenders seemed cool. Everything like that.
Yeah.
Their venue area is in a separate room. We
Not a
get
bad
there.
venue
He also mentioned a few different times, don't be late for load-in. We were there usually on tour. We're like 30 minutes
Yeah.
early at least for
Yeah,
load-in.
I've worked with you guys many times.
Yeah,
You're usually good. So.
Yeah, and so we get there, we're waiting. I think it was 5 o'clock was loading time hits. He's still not there. We're like, okay, he must be running late because they won't unlock the separate venue room until either the sound guy or promoter gets there.
Right. Yeah.
So we're waiting to try to load all of our stuff in. Then it gets to be like 6 o'clock. We're like, okay, what's going on? And then I asked the bartenders, and they're like, we didn't know a show was going on tonight. And then I was like, well, yeah, we booked it through Tracy. They're like, oh, yeah, then he should be on his way. He's probably just running late. So we wait a while longer. Then it becomes like 7 o'clock. And
Mind you, Jake, booked this thing, I think, correct?
Yeah.
So he was Jake's the head dude in charge of what we're doing, and Tracy was the promoter or whatever. He was supposed to be on his shit, but anyway.
Yeah,
continue.
and then finally this guy shows up. He pulls me outside, and the weirdest part was he says, "Hey man, we accidentally double booked someone's memorial service. One of our buddies had passed recently, and we booked this memorial service the same day as your show." He's like, "But it's all fine. We can move that into the bar area, and you guys can have the venue area." I was like, "Okay, cool." And then we started loading our stuff in. And then he starts offering to just pay us the amount of money we were owed for us to leave. But then I saw all these local bands were there. Some of them were for Denton, and from Denton to Deep Ellum with that Dallas traffic that's a pretty long drive. And,
Yeah, a good 34 minutes.
And the locals wanted to play, so I was like, man, we would rather play the show and take no money, because I wanted everyone to get to play a show. We went to Dallas to play a show, even if we didn't get paid, whatever. So we were even rented a van at that to do it. To make a very long story short, a lot of different things happen here and there. He keeps kind of switching it up. The pay went down from what it was to something else, and then we finally realized that he was really just trying to get us out of there. He even told us at one point we had the show booked at another venue down the street that he got it moved. One of the local bands knew the sound guy or someone that worked at that venue and called them,
Sound
and
person,
they said there was no show booked there. They had no idea about it, so he was just trying to get us out of the venue. Then we kind of got in a yelling match, and then he told me to get out of his club, and then we played no show, got no money, rented a van, and then had to just drive back to Tulsa. So that was probably the worst show experience that we've
Right.
had as a band.
Now, we've got a good story about our dear friend Jesse White Deer, and
okay.
came to the rescue for sure. I'm probably couldn't tell it as well because I was probably drunk and like sleepy. So if anybody else like can tell this story probably better than I can, please have at it because this is a good one to tell because Jesse really pulled through on it.
Well, so we played a show at Sessions. In
Recipe
Ada.
sessions, yeah.
Rest in peace. Yeah, that place was
Cool stage.
That was
Dope.
for Ada Fest
Dope.
also, right? Yeah.
No,
yeah,
yeah,
it was
Ada
right
Fest,
at the
Ada
end of
Fest,
Ada
yeah.
Fest. Yeah, so we did that. We drove down, from Tulsa, in our 15-passenger station wagon.
1994.
1994, that we bought from a church in Muskogee. And it got us there. But we
For
tried
sure.
to leave after the show was said and done. And the battery just started everything just started kind of shutting down slowly. We just eventually ended up coming to a rolling stop. We
Took a-
stopped.
Big old huge dump on us.
Basically.
Oh, there was a while where it was me in the front. Nikki was pretty drunk in the passenger seat.
Guilty.
I kept saying we need to pull over, and Nikki kept saying, "No, dude, you got this. Let's keep going.
Let's just go.
And
Okay,
I'm
anyway,
test our limits. The gas
this
station
thing
is
shits
there.
out on us. Please continue.
So we're just waiting, and we ended up having to pull in this bank parking lot, and we were just and this is in the middle of the night. This is probably 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah, it
right?
was in Seminole, yeah.
Yeah, in Seminole, yeah. So we were there in the middle of nowhere, we're on top of the bus, waving arms around at passersby to try and get a jump or something, and we are just shit out of luck.
To no avail, yeah.
Yes.
So we're dialing up anybody we can, and there's I think Logan was the other dude that might almost have been our potential for help. 'Cause
Him
we called
or
him up.
David, I
I
think.
forget,
Maybe, or
but
anyways, go ahead.
nonetheless, yeah. Jesse ended up pulling through on it. He ended up pulling through on it, and it was 45-minute drive from where.
Well,
he
no. So Seminole to Ada is probably 40 minutes.
Oh,
Okay.
40,
But
okay.
you guys were on more the north side of Tulsa, so probably about 45. But yeah, so I got the text from you guys, and you were like, I think Nikki, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And I was like,
As if that shit wasn't going on.
I was like,
Those late night texts.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah. And I was
Hey, you
like, yeah, right. You up, winky face? No, and then and I was like, I was chilling, whatever, and then he was like, hey, we broke down, and I was like,
Sucks
okay.
to suck.
Yeah, and I was like, and yeah, no, and then I think you said you was like, yeah, can you come give us a jump? And I hesitated only because my tag was out and it had been out for a month.
Making
Because
those risks.
yeah,
That's why you really pulled through on them.
so
Homie.
fuck the state of Oklahoma. But
Word up.
so I was like, fuck it. So I went up there and then go ahead and continue. But
So Jesse comes up, and he gets us a jump. He jumps us. He doesn't punch us.
He
at
did
all.
his part, yeah.
yeah,
He by his grace, he came up and gave us a jump, and it took a minute. It didn't. I was like,
I gave up a couple
shite,
times.
This isn't about to work. And then boom, everything went.
Well,
went as
it
planned.
started because I was holding my foot on the gas pedal when it finally started, and if I let my foot off of the gas pedal, it would have it sounded like it was
killed
starting to
it.
die. So I had
Yeah.
to keep my foot on acceleration at all
Word.
time.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So we got the jump. We made it down the highway, the state
very
highway.
far.
Yeah, up to the interstate, right off the interstate, and then broke down again. That old alternator, that boy was dead and gone.
Well,
So,
alternator.
Yeah, practically.
So then you guys had it towed, right, to Tulsa?
Yeah, we had it towed.
Yeah, it was
and-
between when you rescued us and that's whenever Nikki kept telling me to keep
Yeah,
going.
that's whenever I was
And
like,
the
push
light,
the
everything
limits,
was getting
dude.
more and more dim. All the dash lights kept getting more and more dim. After a while, I had no headlights, no dash lights. Didn't know how fast the speedometer wasn't working. Didn't know how fast I was going.
Guess we'll
couldn't see
die.
anything. finally I felt it like really, really dying, and because the drive from like Seminole to Tulsa, there's not many places to stop.
Yeah.
None.
So finally, I found a gas station. As soon as it started, like really, like kind of chucking and sounded like it was about to die. It died as I was pulling into a parking spot. That's whenever it died for good. So that, I guess, out of that whole situation, that was the lucky part. That and Jesse coming in clutch, because we also couldn't have gotten the free tow if we didn't make it farther because we had to be within 100 miles.
100
So
miles.
without that jump, we would have had to pay for
Wow.
the tow.
Right.
And,
Awesome.
Respect.
Respect.
No. Oh well. No, anything to help you guys out. It wasn't anything for me. I just had to drive, give you guys that jump, and then drive back. So,
You're a stronger man than I.
but yeah, no. So that was. I appreciate that. Appreciate the shout outs. It's good to know that I'm not like a total asshole. So
Never been,
You
man.
did your good deed. That's
I mean,
for sure.
I don't really care what they say about you, man, but you're all right.
thanks, Colton. That was very sweet of you. But kind of going back to your album. What's the name of your album?
The album title is The Sum of Infinity.
Okay, is that like a play on the sum of nothing?
No.
No.
Okay.
It is. Yeah, it is not.
Bug no.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why he
playing.
went there, but
You guys aren't Between the Bear and Me fans?
Big time.
No, not really.
You're talking
Who?
about the son of
Can't stand
nothing.
those
Who is
The
that?
album is called The Sum.
Yeah.
Like but the song is called The Sun, like the sun.
Yeah. That's why I said that.
Oh, okay. I thought you said the son of
that's why I
infinity.
said it was
Never
a
mind.
play on words.
Yeah.
Sorry, my fuck.
That's all right, man. We're just going to edit that part out.
Please.
Okay. And then
I'll just like what is that Japanese thing where they kill themselves, to get their honor?
Seppuku.
seppuku. Yeah.
Seppuku.
Seppuku.
Now we're getting cultured. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll just kill myself.
Oh, okay, cool.
Right in the stomach.
That's all right. And then, but you don't have to do that. But, but so how many songs are on the album?
7?
7. Okay. And
6, 7.
Yes,
seven?
we say 6, 7 because
It's an odd time.
which we are partial on odd times. No, but it's like the first song and the like the opening song and the ending song we typically play as one.
Gemini Stigma and Gemini Elixir.
Elixir, precisely, and we just split it up just to get that good old sandwich effect.
Definitely.
oh yeah. And
but-
oh, good.
No, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say it's like it's still like there's a lot of material in this short tract. Like it doesn't have a lot of tracks, but there's like plenty of material that's going on there, like an hour's worth, just about. Plus, you can probably see about the same shit for the material we have for a second album shit that we're working on, without talking about too much about that. But it's completely different. You can expect something a little heavier for newer shit, but this first shit is definitely. I think it speaks for us as a band for sure because it's very. It's got everybody's elements in it, but later we go
The
on.
second step's more accessible.
Definitely.
And is it important to you guys to write something that is very intricate and that the kind of like the hardcores will appreciate, or more of like casual listeners? Like, what's more important?
I would say it's more just like either we're trying to challenge ourselves as players just to come up with something, or it's always about how we're feeling about when we're writing. It's as far as I can speak on that.
And what goes into like that inspiration of writing instrumental, like writing those parts? Is it like obviously it doesn't have lyrics, but is there like a certain theme that you're going for, or is it because the sum of nothing is, where does that come from?
Some infinity. Is that what you're talking about?
Sum of infinity. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'm still stuck on that
Saw
between the
BT
very.
Bam.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, you
We're
guys
just
aren't BT
sucking their
Bam?
lifeblood and fuck no.
Who?
No. For the first album, honestly, it was way more spastic of writing. Me and Garrett kind of went ham on just like throwing everything.
It was our
into it.
first venture into writing in
Yeah,
that
we're
style.
young fucking.
We're
and eager,
idiots.
I'll say that, young and eager. But I think with it kind of leads me to the next shit that's coming up. It sounds more mature for sure. The structures are a little more honed down for to serve the song a little bit instead of just like throwing all the cards on the table.
It's not a bunch of random stuff.
Right,
thrown
right.
together.
The first shit is fun as fuck. Don't get me wrong, but it's more spastic. It's
Right.
Technical wankery, as some would call it, I guess.
but it's still fun, very fun to play though.
Right, awesome. And then and so Garrett and Colton, you guys wrote some of the first album, and then obviously Jake came in. Is it like when you guys are writing something? Is it one central idea, and then a guy writes it and says, "Oh, I got this riff, or I got this part," and then you guys add to it, or like what's the writing process like?
Okay, so that's a weird question. For the first and the second, or for the
Just in
first
general,
one?
like what's a good? I guess we can start with first, but like what's a good? This in
This
general.
is kind of weird because the first two albums were a lot of it was already established before Michael and I joined.
Okay.
So we're gonna get hit like a bus whenever we start on this third album stuff because we don't even know how to approach it yet.
Okay.
It's gonna evolve as
But
time goes.
Garrett can let you know how the writing process went for
Okay,
the first and
so-
second.
So how we did it was Colt and I sat down and just jammed stuff out, and he'd sit down with the guitar and start jamming. I'm like, hey, you should do this, and he'll switch up, and I'm like, hey, do this now and switch here, and he'll switch it up, and then I'll throw my bass part on it. Ooh.
Sorry, I think it's somebody calling me. But and then so what's the inspiration like for that?
Just try to dip into that. Well, whenever we were writing the first and second album, the first one specifically, I guess, we were starting into that style, the progressive rock metal style. So we had an idea of what we were wanting to do, but we didn't know what we were doing at the same time, if that makes sense. Like,
BT Bam comes into a lot of that stuff too, because
like-
paved a lot of ways that we or tried to look at music.
Right.
Dream Theater as well, obviously. But those kind of bands kind of like piqued our interest, and we wanted to kind of emulate that, I think. And
right.
obviously, we're not as mature as those bands, but
Right.
we are trying to approach that kind of shit. And there was a lot of it was definitely just adding one thing after another, but we definitely critiqued each thing that came after another thing. So it's like we worked on a riff, and we'd be content with that, and then we'd try to put something else to it. It might sound spastic, and it definitely is, but it's definitely something that is debated on, and if it fits for the next part or
Right.
not.
Right.
So there is a lot of that, but which when you take like a fucking 7 to 10 minute song and you do that for each riff, that's a lot of time spent on one song.
There's a lot of stuff in it, a lot of notes.
But there's a plethora of ideas too, so it's always like if that doesn't work, maybe we can change the key for the certain riff we have, and it might sound really good coming after this part.
Yeah,
And
if
there's
it-
a lot of trashed ideas too. So I mean,
Yeah, if there's an idea, it's like, hey, should I do this like this or do it like this? It's like, well, just do it this way one way, then do it the other way the next time. So
You gotta talk a little bit louder.
a lot of ideas we debated on. We just did it. Both ideas just brought it back later on. Did it
Right, and
slightly
then-
different.
Right, and you guys are obviously doing like some of the first stuff. You're refining it, and like how much different is it from what you're playing on the album to what you're playing live? Is nothing really?
Almost nothing.
Okay.
There's a few, like maybe a few leads or a few little parts here and there, but nothing too much is different live from the album.
yeah. There
my
are
part.
definitely a lot of leads that I didn't like have established, and I kind of do that for some parts on the first album. Live, I probably still don't have it to this day really established. I have kind of an idea, but a lot of the leads I took a lot of time to establish for the album, but I just can't remember them. So
And
I
it's
suck.
like it's really fun to have those parts to where you can improvise a little bit too, because improvisation, it like it's it makes playing all that more fun.
For sure. Like there's even that I've got a solo in Gemini Elixir, like whenever we're doing all those trade-offs. And yeah, I just improvise that every time because it's like, yeah, I never bothered memorizing what I had, and it's fun to, challenge yourself in that way and
For sure.
kind of really feel that synergy with the band. It's just like kind of a sum of the whole
And
thing.
and you had mentioned because is it very much like how crowd response? Like you're playing some keys, and then maybe either Garrett or Colton is playing like a guitar part, and is it just trying to match that, or is it just whatever you can come through on top of your head?
For that, it's pretty set in stone, like it's already structured.
Right, but
into
the
that. There's already
improvised
soul
parts,
there,
I
but
guess.
Yeah, it's just more like kind of how it feels in the moment. Just kind of maybe I want to like do something that's more legato, got some more held notes, maybe something that's a little more technical, just note after note after note. Just
Yeah, it depends on your energy at the show too. And
Right.
That's a big thing for me when I do those things. But what was I gonna say? It was oh shoot, someone else, please.
That's all right. But I guess the follow-up question would be... Oh, go ahead, Garrett. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I guess the follow-up question is, what is some of the material that you like playing the most? Like, you get the best response. Is it stuff from, like, the first album, some of the newer stuff? Is it, like, a specific song?
Well, we used to play newer stuff live a lot more than we do. Then we started being more serious about being more first album. Sometimes we'll be sneaky and throw some second album stuff in there at a live show, but we definitely get bigger. I feel like the crowd gets more energy from our second album stuff we've played. We definitely get, yeah, it's a lot more driving. It's a lot catchier and it's heavier. It's a lot less spastic than the first album. I feel like the crowd can really know what's going on a lot more if they haven't listened to.
Well, and yeah, but like your earlier stuff, that reminds me a lot of like BT Bam, and I don't mean that to be like insulting or anything.
Oh no, we
but
love
I cannot even believe.
it's very much like a compliment to like Colors, which is
Thank you.
my favorite
That is
album.
a huge
that-
compliment.
Top tier
So it's
album.
like it's very much, and you guys playing that stuff reminds me of like pre-sequel to the sequel and things like that, and like so like I definitely get that vibe, which makes me kind of appreciate it more, and I can kind of see like, okay, well that's where they wrote this part is like, okay, like I got like this change up.
Heavy influence for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Not
What
the
are-
only one, but heavy.
What
one.
are some other bands that you guys would listen to and you kind of brought
Dude,
maybe
as,
not borrowed, but like
Yeah,
their
I
inspiration?
would say like as a whole that we can like definitely kind of pick up off the most is like Leprous, Haken, the top names in BT Bam, the Contortionist, Dream Theater, definitely. That's I don't even have to mention that shit.
Rush too. Shout out to Rush.
But those are like common between the band. There's so many things that each member likes outside of that. That's a little more niche than that. Obviously those are pretty general things, but
General medium.
yeah, I don't want to like speak on everybody's part. So I'm
Did
not
you
gonna
even
be like
mention
so and so
Haken? I
likes
think
that.
that's a,
yeah, he mentioned Hankin.
Yeah, that was like.
Which, by the way, 1985. I fucking love that song by them.
Funny
Good
story
stuff.
about that song. I hated that song when it came out, and I
What?
remember
Okay.
Michael was pissed. And but then after listening to it more, I actually it
Haken
really
is
grew
good.
on me, and now I love that song.
Well, I
But-
mean, like, and that, like, especially that, what's the name of that album?
Affinity.
Affinity, yeah. So, like, especially that stuff, like, you listen to it, and it's very, like, cause I am a fan of, like, 80s new wave and, like, 80s kind of, like, rock and stuff. Yeah, like early, Cure and things like that, especially the stuff on Primary, and then like Flock of Seagulls, things like that. That real kind of new wavy type of stuff. But I had heard that and actually showed that to my oldest brother, who's an '80s DJ. So he specifies in like, but he also does like house and trance and a lot of that EDM music. So it's like, yeah, for sure. So
Could I ask a question about that?
Sure,
Do you
man.
think like does your brother talk to you a lot about that kind of stuff? Like him
a little
being
bit,
a DJ
yeah.
and-
Well, it's more of like I'll mention a band and then he's like, "Well, what about this band?" And he'll kind of give me their catalog and stuff. But go ahead.
Okay, in that case, when they do it live, like how do they do it live basically? Is it like
Oh, as far as EDM music,
yeah.
well, so like with him, he and both Jameson White, DJ Jameson White is his name, and then my brother-in-law who actually edits and produces this podcast, Jacob Proctor.
What's up, dude?
Yeah, what's up, Jacob? So they write a lot of their own stuff, but with Jacob, he does more of, and I don't want to like sound insulting because like I don't really like EDM music, but teach his own.
Neither do
But
I.
but I can appreciate it like jazz, retro swing, like jazz swing, and swing EDM music is really cool. But so their writing process is they'll write like essential beat, and they're a programmer, and they'll do like samples and things like that, and it's just kind of adding to it. But whenever they're playing it live, I believe that a lot of this stuff's just already pre-recorded. And I know they improvise some stuff, but
Yeah, as far as the effects and knobs and all.
yeah,
that.
things like that. Yeah,
Okay.
but whenever you're playing like people's other stuff and you're just DJing, it's very much like my oldest brother Jameson will have like a turntable and he'll bring something in, he'll kind of loop it in. So like Country Grammar by Nelly and Sweet Home Alabama, that's a good mix.
Okay, so it's like a mashup, basically.
Right, and you find the same like beats per minute. You find all of that like,
and you can also torque those to match
for sure,
each other.
like
keys too, if I'm correct.
yeah, and like Call Me Maybe pairs very well with X Gonna Give It to You. It's on the same beat, so it's like, and there's actually a recording of that. It's DMX's vocals laid on top of the instrumentals of Call Me Maybe.
Man, that sounds entertaining.
I mean,
definitely.
it's pretty fucking awesome. And so is that. There's also that mix with Sweet Home Alabama and Country Grammar. So you can find those on.
You know
YouTube.
what? That just they complement each other. So why?
Why wouldn't they? But kind of going to that. What are you guys like watching and listening to? And we can kind of go around there. We'll start with Jake. But what are some of the stuff you're listening to, like albums? Some of the stuff you're watching.
So I have been really digging Periphery for like the last like few years, especially the Hail Stand was an amazing album. Protest the Hero is something I've listened to. Nikki actually got me into them in high school, and then I've listened to them ever since. Even the first albums he showed me and stuff. Obviously, pretty much all of the bands that they named a little bit ago as our influences. Trying to think outside of like the prog type of thing.
Like do you listen to like rap or like country?
Yeah, I mean I like some some old school rap and stuff, and I mean it's kind of here and there. I like Hobson. Hobson's cool.
Hobson's cool. Yeah.
And then I still like a lot of like the metalcore stuff. I kind of like from my high, like Killswitch Engage. I dig them. Architects.
Architects fucking kick
Novelists.
ass, man.
You like them?
I've heard a few songs and they definitely impressed me.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much what. And Polyphia, I've been listening to. At first, I didn't really dig the whole like kind of more poppy sound, but then it really grew. I think it grew on all of us really after a while. And
For sure.
I really dig those guys. But yeah, that's really what I've been listening to.
Okay. Colton.
As the lead guitar player for Lucid Awakening,
It's a hot take.
If we're talking about rap, I love Dizzy Wright. Jaden Smith's Sire album I can listen to that all the way through and be entertained from start to finish because it's just a very musical album. People have, like Jaden Smith's so fucking weird. He definitely is, but he's unique in his own right.
Well, he wrote that song Way Up on the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, really?
album.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that was an excellent movie too, by the way.
That's a good movie. Yeah, good movie and great song, by the way. So.
Fuck, man. I started watching The Witcher, and it was I like it. I'm
Did you
entertained.
play the games?
No, I'm not a gamer at all, but so I'm a noob. No, The Witcher is pretty decent. It's kind of not my style, but it's entertaining. But I think what's getting me is definitely The Mandalorian, because I've watched 6 episodes out of like 8 that they put out so far at this point in time. And it's definitely been entertaining. I'm not like a huge Star Wars fanatic, but they're doing justice, it seems like, for Star Wars and that type of style anyway.
I got you. What about you, Michael?
Well, I'm listening to my usual things, which is not a lot of prog these days. Listen to a lot of hip hop, electronic music. Something I go back to.
What are some of your favorite like electronic music artists?
Well, shoot, BT is one big influence. He kind of runs the gamut. As far as like, man, Flying Lotus is good too. That kind of electronic hip hop kind of thing, and he produces a lot of stuff with other hip hop artists like Kendrick Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I go back to Pimp a Butterfly. That production all like inspires me sonically when it comes to sound design, and a lot of just like sound tropes from hip hop and R&B, that kind of.
Well, and Kendrick
music.
Lamar had a stellar verse on Sia the Greatest, like a remix of The Greatest.
Okay.
He had an awesome verse on that as well.
Right on. I need to check that out.
Yeah, I should.
But yeah, other than that, I listen to a lot of Zelda soundtracks.
Oh, really cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. Just yeah. So that's kind of what. And as far as watching, I'm not really watching anything right now.
I didn't even mention watching.
Yeah,
That's
man.
all
What
right.
the
We can
hell?
come back.
Shit.
Oh, all right. Well, fuck it.
All right, Nikki.
Nikki?
Well, I mean, I listen to all the, all of our collective band influences all the time. Like Polyphia, Chon. Been heavy on those fellas lately. I also am like super into like a lot of jazzy stuff.
Okay.
Or just straight up jazz. Jazzy stuff. Childish Japes is pretty sick. For sure. I really like those guys. Colty got me into them for sure. I like as far as jazz goes, all the classics, but also a lot of the new stuff like Mark Juliana, Mammal Hands, I guess.
Do you know the actor H. John Benjamin? He wrote a jazz album called Jazz Daredevil.
Huh. That's
Yeah.
cool. I'll look up who that guy is, and then I'll probably
Oh,
look
okay.
up his
Well,
fucking...
He plays
album.
he plays Bob in Bob's Burgers.
Oh,
He also does
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I love that guy.
And Archer,
man.
yeah.
He's in Master of None too, which is one of my
dude,
favorite shows.
That's an excellent show. Yes, very much.
It is great.
Home movies, right?
Yeah, and he was in Home
Yeah,
Movies
yeah,
with
yeah.
Brandon
Love
Small.
that shit.
Yeah, and then he was also in Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So a lot of that William Street type of stuff. Yeah, he's in that. Yeah.
So he kind of was like along with that.
Yeah,
And now,
along with-
obviously, he's really famous.
Well, yeah, along with like Brandon Small, who wrote and
Metalocalypse?
yeah, Metalocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
And then he also and Home Movies. So shout out to those guys. Yeah, actually, I was watching on the way before I got here. I was watching an interview with George Fisher, Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, and he was talking about, and he does because Nathan Explosion is based on him, and he did a few voices for Metalocalypse, but he was talking about like meeting Brandon Small and like kind of his inspiration he took from him.
He was on the Doomstar Apocalypse thing, or is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
he's
Or
like the Masked Assassin or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He, I hadn't seen that in a while, but
Yeah, so
Death Clock forever.
for sure. What about you, Garrett?
I'll die for them.
Just really guess the usual what everyone named Caligula's horse.
Good one.
Nice.
Pokemon music.
Pokemon. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's no shit. I've been
Dude,
doing
they
that too.
Yeah.
dude, if you listen to like the orchestra version of like their music, it's like fantastic, especially the
it-
Kanto region.
Are you guys
shit.
going to cover the theme song to the Indigo League? I want to be the very best. You know?
Honestly, we're terrible at coming up with like a song we can cover because that would be really cool to do that. But I don't think we can like.
Well, like Power Glove.
Realistically.
Power Glove is a instrumental band, and they did an all a cover album essentially of like 80s and 90s cartoons. So they did like the X-Men theme. They did Inspector Gadget. They did I think they did one of the Zelda songs, I think. And then they did that Pokemon as well. So it's like
Nice.
Diversity.
yeah, exactly. So it's pretty killer stuff though. So
But yeah, just listen to that, and then
yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
oh man, just
Old man Garrett sounds feeble right now.
nah,
He
just
watches nothing but wrestling. Though.
Oh, my man,
Nah.
my brother.
Jesse White Deer's wet dream.
Oh shit. Nah, watching just movies, not a whole, just whatever diverse.
What are some genres you're into? Are you like a horror comedy guy, rom com?
It just varies. No,
Okay.
no chick flicks. I don't need
He's
any of that. in my
only
life.
rom-com.
Lifetime only.
Nah,
Lactation time only.
shit like Terminator, Terminator 2.
You see Dark Fate?
No, I mixed on seeing it. I heard it's good, but I heard it's really
It's-
not. But I really don't know.
It's good if you're a fan of the first two.
okay.
If you're a fan of James Cameron, it's good. It's a lot better than Genesis. I'll say that. Genesis was the pile
Oh
of
yeah, I've seen that
semen
one.
crap. Yeah, that wasn't that good. But check out Dark Fate if you get a chance,
I'll check that one out.
and listeners as well. Check that out.
That's the most recent one, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but the sequel plans have already been canceled because that movie did so poorly.
Oh, well, no wonder.
So
Well, I mean, I'm still gonna watch it because it.
It's
I
a
mean,
Terminator.
yeah.
Might as well.
yeah,
definitely.
right.
But out of me and Colton, I'm the gamer of us two. He didn't do any of that shit. That was me.
Yeah, noob. Like
And
I said.
I've just been sticking to Mortal Kombat 11.
I'm
and
Luigi.
God of War. He's the Luigi. He's definitely the Luigi.
That's why I'm gonna seppuku myself or whatever Michael said, because I'm Luigi, player 2.
He's just a player 2 having motherfucker.
Not even a good
dude.
player 2. Not even
He
a
ain't
good
good
one.
enough to be net player one.
Michael and I have been getting down on Call of Duty though.
Call of Duty
best
side.
believe it.
And Garrett,
Yeah, that's no shit.
I know that you play NBA 2K.
Yeah, you said Garrett, but yeah,
Oh, fuck.
You should not.
I would
fucked up.
smoke
I'm sorry.
Garrett in
Get the
NBA 2K.
records.
But yeah,
God damn it.
I play a lot of NBA 2K. They
I'm
actually
just-
give me shit
He
for it all the
tukes
time.
up.
Dude,
Tukes up hard.
me too. I fuck with
If we have
2K
time
heavy.
after
Tukes
this
it up the
podcast,
ass.
I can destroy you.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can take that. I just lost a online match. We have this little tournament going on.
pride is
Yeah, regionally, and I'm not gonna say his name, but you know who you are, and you
Logan.
Also, no.
Yeah, you came in.
Okay,
you came
so-
in with the bad vibe, and that's why. No, I was playing.
So he'll peck Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis, by all means, should be able to shoot threes, get on the inside, dunk
Oh,
it.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
got, but like this fucking dude just always goes for fucking dunks, even if he's getting guarded or no matter what happens, and he always manages to fucking rim the dunks, and then somebody gets a defensive rebound and they take it down, they shoot a three, so it's just fucking frustrating, and I'm just like gripping my controller.
Some
Anyway,
of the players on 2K, it's not like the real thing. They will,
yeah,
like,
some of it's bullshit.
I can shoot almost 100% from
Yeah.
the three with Russell Westbrook on there, and that he does not do that.
Well, and you get like a green light, and then you hit a three, but then you'll get close to a green light, and I know you guys aren't know what the fuck's going on, but
We're not 2K guys.
but you'll get like a good shot percentage, and it'll fucking rim out,
Oh.
or somebody will snatch it in the air, and it's just real fucking frustrating. Who do you what team do you use on a 2K?
So I do a lot of usually what I do is I do my season or whatever where
Yeah.
you and I'll like this year I was kind of happy about like the Thunder changes that were made because I never got to pick the Thunder before in this mode because I like to rebuild the team and make them really good. But this year I picked the Thunder. I traded away Chris Paul and some other guys. I got a really good starting lineup and some really good guys off the bench. And I usually just do that mode with the Thunder and go through the seasons and usually win the title. And then I'll do the my career sometimes. But if I'm playing someone, we usually do random teams. Like my buddy Jordan, we play, and we always we'll do random and then for 3 times, and then we pick out of the 3 we got and play. Because I really like to use everybody.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Jake, you're a fucking professional, man.
I know that was so just smooth. You already had that.
He gets paid to do that.
I know, right? But
Watch out, Shaq. He's coming for your fucking position.
Yeah, right. Now, this kind of wrapping up here. What is like some of your how important is being professional? I know that seems like a silly question, but
Not at all.
obviously you guys take this seriously because like Jake said, you guys show up on time. You're there. And how important is that? And when you see in other bands being unprofessional, has that ever killed it for you?
Colton, you take this. I think we
Yeah, you got a strong feeling. No, being professional as far as representing ourselves is definitely priority as far as interacting with people or even playing good on our behalves. And that's serious, but on on other aspects of we were mentioning Tracy Sprague earlier. That's probably not on a band move. That's probably not great, but that dude sucks, so it's probably good for other people to at least understand that this dude
Right.
has the potential to do this to them. So to me, that's not quite professional, especially to name call or anything. But we stand away from that for sure. But
This is one exception.
he crossed the line, that kind of shit. We would never
That's a harm reduction right there.
right. We would never try to watch out for that dude basically because
Yeah.
he's willing to do that. But
Well, and and this kind of going to another question is, have you played with a band, and obviously you don't have to say any names or anything, but have you played with a band that you were like, man, those guys are super unprofessional? Because
Yes.
being like a booker and promoter and stuff is, I've been friends with a lot of bands, and seeing them play and seeing how they just don't take it seriously. Like for example, there was a band, they were hitting me up and they were like, "Hey man, you never let us play shows. You never let us do this. Let us do this. Let's play a show." Okay, fine. So they show up and their bass player no shows. They're like, "Yeah, he just didn't want to play the show," even though they said. Because we were good friends at that time, I said, okay, well, I'll give you, $60 or whatever it was. I forgot however much the guarantee was. But like if you guarantee you come down, and we'll figure out food or whatever. And there was like 5 members. So okay, so they come down. The bass player no shows. They play a set, and then like they were supposed to play 40 minutes. And this is really crucial from any standpoint. Is like if you can't play your whole set, just don't book the show. I mean, unless something like dramatic happens, or you're sick, or you have to cut down because like you have a new drummer or whatever it is, that's fine. But like, so these dudes play like half their set, and then like the guitar player / vocalist is just like, yeah, man, I'm just not really feeling this. Like we're just gonna go ahead and cut it good.
Yeah,
And
that's
yeah,
bad.
but go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, so we've had, I understand where you're coming from.
Absolutely.
Being a promoter and agent, dude, that stuff happens way too often. Also, to all local bands out there, bring as many people as you can to shows, please. It helps us guys like me and Jesse out a lot.
sure.
But we had one instance, I'm not going to mention the city or any names or anything, where we were waiting to load our gear onto the stage for probably a solid
6 hours.
These guys got done playing and all headed straight to the bar without unloading their gear from the stage when we were going next. Then I saw them just kind of hanging out, talking to friends and stuff. We waited a solid 20 to 30 minutes before we got to finally start loading onto the stage, and that's probably yeah. So like that's probably the most unprofessional thing we've seen, other than the whole Tracy Sprague incident. But as far as like playing with other bands and stuff, like you can't be like that and make it anywhere in this industry. You have to be. It's a job. You have to really be on it. You have to be very professional. Even if someone pisses you off, you have to shake their hand and be very personable to them.
Respectful. You gotta be respectful of other people's.
But also like venues and promoters, they have to be respectful of the bands as well.
Yeah,
so it's
of
a two-way
course,
street.
yeah.
So you can't, because I've had shows where it just didn't go good, or like before I did like bands and stuff, I did like dance parties. So we'd do dance parties, people would come out, and then like people didn't come out, but it's like I still had to pay the talent and stuff like that. And you definitely, I think it's very important to have that established relationship between bands and promoters and venues and stuff, so that way you can kind of it's all about networking, because if people know that you're a shitty venue owner, you're a shitty promoter, you stub people
You're
on.
gonna get called out probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People are going to start to talk.
Whether we do it right here or talk personally.
And
to people,
agents won't come back to you if you're a shitty promoter.
Well,
They
yeah,
won't.
and bands talk, because it's like, I'm sure if you guys have a shitty experience, like with the guy from Reno's Chop Shop,
Yeah.
right? It's like, you're going to talk to other bands and you're going to say like, hey, like, we're about to play Reno's, what do you think? You guys have played there. You're going to say like, well, this is our experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, so obviously,
Yeah.
yeah.
We didn't
So
play there.
just, just be good. Just be a solid dude. Is there any other like advice you guys would give upcoming bands or people that are?
Don't call for your own encore.
And don't book too many local shows back to back in your own town if you were a local band. At least give them at least a month apart. You want people to want to see every show, and if you're playing 2 shows in 1 week, people are going to pick one or the other most of the time, so that helps
Right.
draw people. And other than that, just being professional, being on top of it.
show up on time.
And yeah, and be
you wanna
good
say
with
something,
your
Michael?
releases and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Fan
for sure.
friendly.
Oh, awesome. All right. So, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on? Anything you want to?
Thanks for having us on.
Oh, no problem,
Yes,
man.
thank you,
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank
Jesse.
having me up here. Yeah, that's awesome. But so where can people follow you guys?
All the places.
Yeah, we're on all social media platforms, I guess, besides Twitter.
Okay.
We have a Twitter, but
No
we
one
don't
uses
use
it.
it.
We don't use it.
It
You can
is
find all
um,
the
barren.
places on lucidawakeningband.com.
Awesome. And then and the first album's out right now, and it's called the
Sum of Infinity.
Sum of Infinity. Awesome. And that's on Spotify, Bandcamp as well.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Awesome. Definitely check that out.
Going on tour in
Going on
March.
tour?
See
Hell
us
yeah.
If we're in a city near you.
You guys got some merch? People can buy some merch, support you guys?
We are working on merch deals right now. We will have plenty of merch for
New
for the
merch
shows.
for sure. Also, I forgot to mention when we were talking about albums and shit. Just one extra thing here. Being Without's new album they just put out, sick as fuck, man.
So solid.
Yeah, definitely. So
Hell yeah.
that's all I'm gonna say about that.
For sure. All right. Yeah. And again, this is the Needless Potatoes podcast. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook. We don't have a Twitter just because I don't have time for that. But you follow that. Yeah. And we're also on YouTube. You can listen to this on Stitcher, Google Play Podcast. We're working on getting the Apple Podcast up. Hopefully it'll be up by the time this is over. Spotify, YouTube. So check all that out. And if you'd like, we're on anchor.com, which is a hosting website. So you can go to anchor.com/Needless Potatoes Podcast. And you can donate on there, with just your support or with money, whichever works for you. I mean, you can give as little or as much as you'd like. And that'd be really stellar. But again, I've been Jesse White there, and you guys have been
Lucid
Awakening.
Awakening.
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Lucid
Yeah, yeah.
Awakening.
Lucid Awakening.